Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings Christmas Special. Hopefully, everybody had great Christmas. Everybody enjoying a great time with family. So we had a Christmas rally. Actually, we had a Christmas rally, and it was really nice day. It was a short day. And we had some good setups. The rally is not always. It's not a given, but our system tells us that it's coming, so we stick with the system, and we had a nice day. So a lot to recap. Today. We go through everything. I want to talk about a little bit about options, risk as well today. So we'll discuss that. We'll go through everything. Let's do a quick introduction. So all these trade recaps and all these teachings that I share with you guys every day, these are either from Twitter X, any idea, be a day trade, swing trade, or investment idea that I shared on Twitter X, or I shared with you guys in my previous YouTube videos, or I share them mostly in my community. We trade a consistent setup system. System is how you trade. Setup is what you trade. We use system, Ripster EMA Cloud system that thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently. Ripster EMA Clouds, Ripster MTF Clouds, and of course using the principles of price action, trend trading. So we stick with those repeatable system, and we stick with the repeatable setups that we trade again and again, day in, day out, be it a day trade, swing, or it a long-term position. We always have a repeatable process that we can repeat all our life. Anyways, every morning before the market opens, we make a plan. We make a game plan for the day. In the community, my team prepares a game plan. And this was a game plan for 24th. And there was nothing much. It was a short day. There was not much news, but we have a similar game plan for every day with the news, support level, resistance level, and the game plan. And then we also have a daily levels, which were very important. For this rally, we'll talk about it, how these levels helped us to nail a lot of long trades. You can take a screenshot and see how everything moved, but we'll recap a few of those. In addition to that, we also share something we have as a day 2, day 3 strategy. That's my repeatable strategy that I've been teaching. I did some free webinars as well on Twitter. You can post my previous YouTube videos about the day 2, day 3 strategy. Some decent movers. We didn't really have to focus on this strategy today personally, because RAM was a good trade. If you took it, we'll recap that. Because the market was a trend day, right? So we'll talk about all that trend and chop day. Anyways, in addition to that, we also provide crypto levels, Bitcoin, coin, MSTR to trade the crypto. MSTR was a nice trade. Coin was a nice trade based upon these levels. We use these levels in our system to trade consistently, keep our losers small, winners big. In addition to that, we also share IPO lists. We have a plan on the low floors. You can trade low floors in the community as well. I'm on the voice every morning, first few hours. If the market is trending, I'm usually on the voice all day, like on 24th for this Santa rally. I will show you my timestamp guidance, and I'll show you what was my guidance step by step, how I was guiding the traders in the community. We have thousands of traders on our trading floor all day sharing ideas with each other. Trade ideas, long ideas, short ideas. Amazing people we have in the community. A great community one. So very proud of that. We also have a lot of tools in the community. We have 3-4 option scanners, stock scanners, my live stream. I'm live. My screen share is live there as well. Breaking news. It's an all-in-one trading platform. It's not a Discord. It's a very advanced platform that you can come and join and use. And yeah, that's about it. Let's start the recap. So I want to start with talking about a little different video today. I'm just want to start to talk about the trading mindset. You can watch my trading mindset webinar, and you can watch my risk management webinar. Both of them are freely available on YouTube. You can watch that and you will learn a lot. So there was this article published by Wall Street Journal that how, because this year so many 0DT options, NVIDIA, Tesla, crazy runners, that a lot of traders jumping in the trading, specifically options trading or cryptocurrency craze. not realizing the risk involved, right? I mean, it's easy money. You go to social media, you see somebody posting their huge gains, they're making 1,000 to 50,000 challenge and all that. That kind of sets very unrealistic expectations, and zero DTE options specifically look like an easy money for everyone, and they try to jump in, they make a little bit money on the zero DTE option, looks good, they start putting a lot of more money, and then that has caused a lot of problem. And recently this year, medical professionals and counselors are reporting that a lot of patients have been reporting of compulsive trading habits. People are going to gambling anonymous, and it's causing divorces, mental stress, a lot of things, crazy things happening. This happens because, guys, when we come to the market without any knowledge, a lot of traders who came and traded in COVID without a system, they just traded whatever somebody told them, or just without a system. They made a lot of money, but most of them after COVID, they gave back what they gained, because eventually you give back, right? The fluke money you give back. The money you make without having any repeatable system, you will eventually give back. I always say fast money goes away fast, fluke money goes away fast. So steady money stays with you. But zero DTE options, it's a fast money, and a lot of it has a different kind of risk management. But a lot of traders don't see that. They see easy money. You see those TikTok, Instagram videos with the P&Ls, Lamborghinis, and all that. That it tends to bring people with very unrealistic expectations. It happens to all of us, right? We are humans. Our mind is built like that, and trading is like that. If you are making a little bit money, you lost it, you want to make it back, you do more crazy stuff to get it back, right? And then you're kind of addicted, or you just want to make money back because you don't want to tell your family how much you lost, and you think you can make it back quickly and everything will be good before your family knows. But that's not how it happens. The problem here is that, of course, there's trading investing education, but nobody really wants to have trading investing education. Everybody wants easy money. Somebody on Twitter told something, they are all happy. It's all good until it's the alerts on Twitter stop working and people lose crazy amount of money. I'll give you an example of Tesla. A lot of people made a lot of money on Tesla last few months, but those who had no idea, they just bought Tesla because their friend told him, hey, buy Tesla, it's going to go up. Trump is Elon Musk's friend. They are going to give money next year. They'll eventually give all that money back, because I understand the options been 10,000, 15,000% on zero DTEs, and but people don't have the knowledge about options, right? Options is a vast, very vast subject. People literally read books about it. Even I don't understand everything on the options. So you need to study really hard to understand, theta, gamma, the intrinsic value, the IV. There's so many concepts to understand, because with the stocks, your stock will come back. But if option goes down, even if the stock comes back, it won't come back. And if it loses the time of expiry, it won't never come back. You can literally overnight lose 100% of your investment in the options. That's why it's lucrative, because it goes 1,000% and then it goes down 100%. So how do you manage that? I mean, I'm not going to delve about too much into the trading mindset. You can watch my webinar, I covered there. But to avoid this, first of all, you need to have a system. Trade zero DTE, watch my playlists. I have hundreds of playlists on how we trade zero DTE options. You have to treat it as 100% risk. And I will show you. Today we'll talk about SPY QQQ Lotto options that I gave in the community. You have to treat it as 100% risk. When I say 100% risk, it's your R. It's the same as R as any other trade you're doing, right? If you have $5,000 account, $10,000 account, if you're risking on every trade is $200, if you're trading stocks or any other options, that is your R. So if you're risking on a lot of options, you have to risk it 100. You have to assume the 100. If you do not have time, and you have to assume 100% risk on those 0 DTE, because, and also you have to understand the time value, because once you assume 100% risk, you will take the positions accordingly. You can't buy 0 DTE with half of your portfolio thinking Tesla is going to 500 tomorrow. Yeah, it's been going, so it's all good, but it's not when it doesn't go. Like recently, this Tesla sold off without a system. We buy with a system, so that's I teach you every day. When it doesn't go, your account is wiped off 50%. So you have to assume that 100% risk, and when you assume the 100% risk is based upon your account, if you have $5,000 account, 100 is your probably $80 or $100 is your 100% risk. You buy a lot of option and you want it to go 200, 300%, because once you risk those 100% a lot of options, even if you lose 4 or 5 of those, still it won't be like 5%, maybe 10% damage to your account. But if you're following some strict setup, some strict conviction, one of those will hit, even 2 of those goes 200, 300%. Let's say 2 of those go into 300%. You will still be profitable. Even if you lost 3 times, you lost 300, but, when you made 600, 700. And so you will be eventually be up $300, $400. So that's how the risk reward is, guys, on the options. You have to assume 100% risk, and you have to have realistic expectations. Don't follow anybody. Study. I have a lot of information on Ripster education that you can learn about the options. You can do Google. There's so many good accounts which teach options. Everything is out there. Self-study, because trust me, options can wipe. I have lost hundreds of thousands dollars on options as well. And I remember I bought a stock because I expected a news, and the news didn't come, and those 200, 300,000 worth of options went to zero because I assumed there's something going to happen, because I was trading on a hunch, or I was trading without a system, right? I mean, I had a system, but I made a mistake. But I assumed that risk. I could tolerate it. No amount is small amount, but I could tolerate it. But there is always lessons. If you're a small trader, big trader, doesn't really matter, right? So you have to. You can make money, like I show you in a lot of these videos. We did a gamma squeeze on Tesla the other day, but you have to assume that risk, and you have to hold your winners. When you do a lot of options, hold them. Do not swing 0 DTEs if there's not some special conviction. Do not swing them overnight if you are not already in money. When you buy 0 DTEs, make sure you swing only on Monday, Tuesday, and you do not do that on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because you're going to lose a lot of money there on the 0 DTE options. And stop looking at easy money. Look how much you can lose when you buy the option. First, look how much you can lose, how much you're willing to lose. So stop gambling on those earning lottos. Learn advanced credit option strategies, credit spreads, debit spreads. Learn those. I'll probably do a webinar on that. So learn those, guys. So there's no need to be destroying your life over this, because trading is quick money, but it involves stress and it can destroy lives. But if you're that person that you're down, just spiraling down a hole, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it, because everybody been there, and you can get out of that. So stay strong. Start today. Every new day is first trading day of your rest of your trading career. So make a promise to yourself. If you trade 0 DT options, you can ask me, DM me, watch all my previous videos. Of course, free to join the community. But you can still study hard yourself and be in control of how much you are going to lose, and avoid such catastrophic losses, right? Trading has to be stress-free, right? If you can't make a trading stress-free, if you're stressed buying an option and you can't sleep, then you're doing something wrong. So hopefully this video can help some of the traders which are going through this. So hopefully this can help a lot of you traders. I just wanted to talk about this today because this article came in. You should read this article. It's on Wall Street Journal. You can read that, and it's very eye-opening, and hopefully this saves a lot of people to going through same problem, right? Because definitely, the way you treat trading, it can be gambling if you don't have a repeatable system. But if you have a repeatable system and you understand risk reward, you can do good, right? So focus on that. Understand how much you're risking on your 0 DTEs. Don't go crazy. Watch my recaps or learn from other smart traders. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, let's start with SPY QQQ, huge trade today in the community. So let's see what was going on before I go in the community. So today, this morning, as soon as the market opened, I even tweeted about it that Santa is coming. Why was I saying that? Because we were breaking on a daily chart over the Friday highs, right? SPY QQQ confirmed long over the Friday highs. So what am I saying here? What do I mean when I say this SPY QQQ breaking out? Learn my concepts of chop and trend. I teach it a lot. So you see that this was a Friday highs. If I take everything off here, if I even take EMA. So you see this is the breakout I was talking about, because this was the breakout Friday highs. There's also resistance, breakout, right? So this was the breakout. This was our setup. And when we go intraday, we can look at that as well. Let me see. Yeah. So if we go intraday, we can see that what's happening here on the 10-minute chart, right? We can see that EMA clouds are bullish. We are breaking out over this line. So that makes it long for us on SPY. I'm just going to show you here. See if I can show you there. Same for QQQ, right? So QQQ was similar thing. You can go to QQQs and you can look at the similar things, right? So you have to always understand the bigger picture. And also QQQ was pushing out all the EMA clouds as well. So you can see all timestamp guidance. This was a 527 call I gave, and then it's a 527 call, and QQQ was let's look at QQQ. Yeah. So QQQ, so SPY was QQQ was 527s and SPY was that 597 calls. I kind of confused it there. Let's see. So QQQ was 597s, and we'll look at them later, and SPY was those 526s. Anyways, so that was the confidence. Other confidence was the confidence from the VIX, right? I always teach you that if VIX is dropping, you stay long, right? So today also we had these VIX levels today for the buy, 1650, 1670. So once we are under 1650, 1670, it's all day long, no questions asked. We are over the pre-market highs, or we are over the Friday highs, over the yesterday highs. Everything is bullish. That's a trend day. If we were under those levels, we would have gone in the chop, just like we had a chop this day, Thursday after FOMC. So you can see that, right? It was a trend move. So that's why we were long all day. I can show you my timestamped guidance here if you want to look here. Let's see here. So you can see here, right? What I talk about confirmed long. I said confirmed long because I had very confidence, and then those were the calls I talked about, and then all day hold runners, hold runners, hold runners, hold runners. Why do I stress that? I will show you that. Why do I stress that you hold your... So reason I stress that hold runners on my voice, and of course on my timestamp comments there or on Twitter, because you need to let those have to maximize your profits, right? I said hold, otherwise you will have small winners and big losers, right? So that's the only way, right? So look at that. That's only way. Even at the end, I said hold it, because SPY never broke the Ripster EMA clouds, right? Never broke. QQQ got out, kind of faked us out, but it never really broke, right? And that's end of the day squeeze setup. A lot of traders played that. That's a different kind of strategy that you need to learn. Risky, but it's good. And Santa is coming, of course. We had that Santa rally. Everybody thinks it's a Santa rally, then it becomes a Santa rally, because everybody is trying, just buying. So it becomes a Santa rally for us, right? So let's look at that 597s. Let's look here. So you see that the 597, when I first called out on the voice, was trading at 70-80 cents. That went into $4, right? So that's your 300-400% gain right there, right? If you had $100, you made $300. If you have $1,000, you have $3,000. You can't just risk $80 and just make $80. Yeah, that's fine too. But day like today, you need to hold. Either you sell half position, hold as long as the trend holds, or if you have 20 contracts, you sell them, you buy the further Lottos. So I'm not going to talk about the rolls today. I'm just going to talk about the holds. Even let's say you had 10 contracts, right? You locked at $2, you locked $1,000, and you left 5 contracts. Even those 5 contracts, went on to make you another $1,000. So you maximize your profit potential in that way, right? So the other call that I mentioned in the community was, let me see, on the QQQs was, you can see all day I guided my traders, I guided my Twitter followers to make sure, because days like today is when you capitalize. Otherwise, on a choppy day, you don't do much day like today, but on the choppy day, you kind of give it up. And then you have a big loser because you are not even doing anything on a day like today, right? So looking at same thing, if you look at QQQs, that went from 50-60 cents all the way to $4. So you had $50 became $400. Your $500 became $4,000. And even if you did half of this, right? But the point is risking $500. If you're making $2,000, that's good because you're risking all 100% based upon your account, right? If you had a $2,000 account and you just risked $120 here, you probably increased your small account by 10, 15, 20%. So that's how you trade 0DTE. If you're $2,000, you don't just throw your full $2,000 in this account. If I have a $10,000, then I'll probably throw $300 there and try to make, $900, $1,500 from that to take my $10,000 account to $11,000 in a day. That's how you do it. Because if it's gone, it's gone. I lose 200, that's fine, but I'm making that much. So that's how you trade Lotto options, guys. Great trade in the community. Beautiful all day trend. Full guidance here. You can see the full guidance on Twitter as well for the followers. Amazing guidance. Let's go to the next. All right, let's talk about Tesla. I'm going to just show you the screenshots from the X. It's a little easier for me than showing in the community, but this was all in the community, and of course I was on the voice. So you see 430 long versus 436. That was your risk. Let's look at what were our levels this morning on Tesla here. So let's see here our levels. Our levels on Tesla were 440, 438. So those were our levels, and I know we are pushing over 1 hour EMA Clouds, right? I put a short out there about that. So I know that it's turning 1 hour bullish over 50 EMA. It's always a big trigger, and we have sent a rally check. And on top of that, we had unusual flow by Tesla right at open. You see, there's a 460 flow, 500 flow by Ghost Board. Amazing tool. Everybody should try that tool. So we had that. Even I was on the voice call. I was talking about the flow that's coming in. We don't just buy blindly. A lot of people are buy blindly. Oh, I told you Tesla is going to go back, right? We don't trade told you. We trade our system, and we try to make much more than just gut feeling trades. We don't do gut feeling trades. I do not teach gut feeling trades. So anyways, I made sure now none of my traders in my community sell it until its full potential, right? 447 next target. I continuously give the next targets. 450 next target. 450. This was a flag break. If you see here, there's no need to panic. It's just testing the EMA Clouds. I continuously give the stops. There's a reason I give the stops. So at that point, you either keep rolling. Of course, you can trade TSLL. If you have a small account, you can trade TSLL. You see all the targets meeting. 455 target met, and then next target was 460, even 465. I told everybody to swing Tesla, and you can see that. And at the end of the day, it also crossed 465. You can always trade TSLL, guys, and it's easier for you because same setup on TSLL, smaller accounts, and that can do wonders for you as well. You can trade options on TSLL. Let's say if you are trading, let's say you were trading 36 Lottos, right? Or if 36 is too much, let's talk about, let's look at here. And let's just take a look at 36 Lottos, right? So if you're trading 36 Lottos on TSLL, that went from 40 cents, $1, that's to 200%, 250%. Then it went to 150, right? So that's like 300% gain right there, right? So you buy TSLL option, even though it's a little, it's a 40 cents option, right? You can risk 40 cents if you're Lotto. Technically, if you're an advanced trader, you can still manage it without risking full 100% because you're going to manage it based upon the cloud system. But you can see that how those options are going and how you can make from those options. And it's all system, right? Even the EMA Cloud system works on the option charts. You can see that. And if you were trading 460, I like the 460. So 460 was a good one. So let's see here. 460 was there was a 460 here. Let's see here. So that was a 461 that went from like $2-3 right here. That went all the way to $10, right? That's another 300% there. So you see the squeeze. So that's why I said hold. Just similarly, when I said on SPY to hold, you sell some, right? If you have 10 contracts on $3, you sell some. You have to sell 5, keep rest of the 5. Those 5 alone gave you another $15,000, right? So that's how you maximize your potential. That's how you trade the lot options. It's very important today. But anyways, guys, beautiful. Love this. Love today. Huge day for community. Huge day for the followers. Because I try to not give you the alerts. I try to show you how it works, and you can see the thousands of traders as well. Even if one person can change its life from what I teach you, that's worth it. And I'm sure you are. Make sure you comment and below if you have any questions. So anyways, you can see, go to Twitter, see the continuous guidance. Most of my guidance was on the voice. Tesla was squeezing in the close. That was good. That's why we said swing it, right? Swing, and 436, and that's a beauty here. So that was Tesla, guys. So next we're going to talk about the Bitcoin's place today. So look at the Bitcoin chart first. Let's look at a Bitcoin chart. So what was happening on Bitcoin today? Why was it important? So let me tell you. So this is the first thing I told in the morning to my community as well, that let's see here if I can show you. Bitcoin plays on high watch, right? So even it was on our game plan there today that Bitcoin is on a high watch. MicroStrategy buys 5,000 more Bitcoins, pullback long, 512 calls, MTF above, right? So let me first talk about MSTR, then we'll talk about the other name. So MSTR, this was the plan, 333, 348, and as soon as I see MSTR, of course, Bitcoin was pushing as well over the MTF clouds. You can see that, and that gives you a long signal to buy. But the same thing was for MSTR. The conviction in MSTR was from the Bitcoin strength breaking out, and of course, we had it on Gameplan. We had a MSTR news. So you see, we make this game plan every morning for a reason. So that's why we were watching this MSTR here, right? Pullback longs, 512 calls. So I told long as soon as I saw the strength, I said long as well versus 34 to 340-250. So when I say 340-250, so that was my risk level right here, right under here, right? So first candle, then it pushes. I'm not going to look at a smaller candle. It pushed right away to 351, then pulled back to 345. Some traders are panicking. We are not. I said pullback adds. At that pullback, I said pullback adds. Stop same under the 512s. So no need to panic. And there was the bounce from the 512 pullbacks, Ripster clouds. Flag. This is the flag breakout. 360 was my final target. We almost met that, and so that's the system, guys. That's system. I have shown you 1,000 trades like this. It's so easy. The reason I do the guidance and everything to show the traders that how the system works. So of course, traders, a lot of traders, most traders in the community who follow my guidance, who are long here and being profitable every day. Because they know the system. They know the MTF clouds right there. They know there's a flag chart pattern. They know 512 EMA clouds are holding all day long. So that makes an A+ setup long on MSTR, right? So same setup was on coin. Again, Bitcoin strong. Bitcoin's breaking out. I already showed you that the Bitcoin chart was curling and intraday was going. The good thing about coin was both 1 hour EMA clouds and the 50-50 MTF EMA clouds were converging there. So Bitcoin was a similar setup. Let's look at our levels here on Bitcoin. So your support on Bitcoin was here. Let's go to the crypto sheet here. 271, 268, 88. So those were risks. You see this? Never broke over our support that I gave. All you had to do was hold with the support I gave, and you get long here, you stops here, let it ride it. There is an MTF cloud breakout. There is a flag breakout. All day push from 270 to 82s, right? Options also really moved nicely on coin. Same for MSTR. Watch my previous videos on MSTR coin, Bitcoin trades. You will learn a lot. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about AMD and all the semiconductors today. I already covered this swing move that we had long yesterday in a short video yesterday. I'm not going to talk about it. That was MTF long. But something important, although we were coming in with the bullish news on all these names, you can see that Biden administration new Chinese probe, AVG, XL, Marvel, all the chips were on our watch list. That's why I put this chip list here, which we have on my live stream all day. But when it was a profit taking, swings were up, was a profit taking. Still holding the swing, by the way. So I'm not interested. I'm interested in this. So you can see the difference, right? You see the difference between Tesla and you see the difference between AMD. To have a high probability longs, I'm interested in this. I'm not interested in this. Breaking my cloud system. My cloud system is telling me it's a B minus setup. Leave it alone. Nothing to do there. But I am interested in this. Over the pre-market highs, over the clouds, under the pre-market lows, under the clouds, no interest there, right? Same thing for, most of the semiconductors. They were choppy. SOXL was good because, some of other names were finding strength, but most of them was profit taking. So we sold some of our swings today. SOXL we're still holding. AMD, we'll see how that goes, but all three are swing. You can watch my yesterday's short video. I covered that, but why I wanted to cover here is that you don't see me any guidance from me on AMD because I was not interested on AMD and other semiconductors. So let's look at NVIDIA though. That was relative strength. That one we traded and a guided. All right, so let's look at NVIDIA now. So what was happening with NVIDIA? So NVIDIA was long in the morning, but again it joined the semiconductors, then it failed back. It was a nice long, bullish versus 139.30. 142 was my target. We met the target, logged half, pulled back, we stopped out, right? It did bounce, gave us some setup, but that's it, because semiconductors were weak. So you need to understand where the money is flowing, right? Where the money, which stocks are strong, which stocks are going. We will talk about the next stock, which was strong. You will understand what I mean. So next one we're going to talk about is Apple, right? So Apple was a strong one. So I would rather trade Apple than I would trade NVIDIA. And Apple I gave on the voice. That's a trigger long, and there was a lot of flow coming in on Apple. So there was a lot of flow coming in on Apple. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on here on Apple. So there was a solid flow that was coming in on Apple, and it was a flagging here, an all-day guidance. 257.50 was the first target, 258 was the second target. We almost met over both the targets here. You can see the timestamp comments, and also there is my pre-market levels, 255 to 55.70, both broke up, and also flow really helped on Apple. There was a solid flow, so that really helped us. So that was Apple was a nice long winner in the community. So next one, we're going to take a look at SMCI. SMCI was a long as well. Let's see the levels. SMCI level was 32.69, 32.87. So this is thanks to the traders in the community that mentioned SMCI. A lot of, like you say, we don't miss anything in the communities. There's thousands of traders sharing idea all day. You can see that Ahmed was on SMCI. Michelle was on SMCI. So it was a nice long on SMCI. I did give a target of this 35s, but it did push a little bit more towards 35.50, and it's rejecting the 20 EMA, 20 MTF. So it's a good place to cut your longs when you see this candle. And when it's extended from the EMAs, important rule, it's always going to pull back. So this is a time to lock most of the profit and probably get out here. Let's take a quick look on RAM. RAM was our day 2 setup, but it didn't really push too much there. The long was right here. Let's look at the day 2 levels on RAM. 1247, 1325. So as soon as my level was triggered, this was a long right here, and the target I gave was 15. The stop I gave was 1340. Then it pushed towards 15. The stops were at 1383. You made like almost $1.50 with a 50-cent risk. Not a crazy trade, but still double the reward of your risk, and you get out when it breaks here. There's a timestamp guidance. Most of it was on the voice. Just want to recap NNE. NNE I want to recap because NNE was our MTF Cloud bounce right here. You can do a C minus long here when you see this bounce, and you can add your long over the cloud call setup. This is my repeatable cloud long setup. That's a good trade. This was a call out by the traders in the community. NNE, Vic G was on top of it. NNE from that curl, he called it out from the MTF bounce. Was a beautiful trade. So yeah, so you can see that his guidance and community. So anyways, guys, Merry Christmas, enjoy. If you want to join the community, you can join. We have Christmas promo running. Do not come for the alerts, come for the guidance and all the free tools we have. Great family of traders we have if you guys want to join. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.